have been worshiping one sort of God or another since people were in existence. And at least in our Western culture, they've been doing that with music, at least partially. And the singing of hymns, the listening to anthems, the instrumental music, organ music, drumming, whatever the particular religion sort of called for, has been part of worship since forever. And so an awful lot of the music that we get to listen to and we get to perform originated in church. And so this evening's concert is a celebration of all kinds of different manifestations of the way people celebrate their religion musically. And there's lots of different ways to do that and lots of different styles, and we're going to touch on some of them tonight. I hope you get a chance, by the way, to look in the program and read the poem of the piece that you just heard. It's an old 16th century poem, I think. And it's such a cool poem that it's worth taking home and just kind of chewing on for a while. We're going to go on with Aaron Copland. Aaron Copland was born in 1900 and died in 1990, so he's fairly recent, almost a contemporary composer. He's known as the Dean of American Composers. Almost every composer that you know, American composer, either studied with him or was influenced by him. Hugely important person. And one of the things that he wrote, because he was interested in American folk music, was a set of songs that he called Old American Songs. And he wrote them as solos to be sung by one singer, usually a baritone, with a piano. And the person who premiered those songs was William Warfield, who was a great African-American baritone of his day. However, that was 1950 when those were written. After that, just a few years after that, each of them has been arranged for chorus. So we're going to do 3 of the Old American songs by Aaron Copland. And we're going to do them without interruption. I'm just going to go from one to the next. So enjoy Aaron Copland's music, please.
Where bright angels feet have trod.
In 1774, a sect of Christianity was founded in England, which was called the United Society of Believers in Christ's Second Appearing. We know them as the Shakers. Mother Ann Lee was their leader, and she had been the mother of 4 children, all of whom died in childbirth or in their young lives. And they think that perhaps that might have had something to do with her decision to, first of all, divorce her husband. Remember, this is 1774. Divorce her husband and start a religion in which she claimed to be the second coming of Christ. And one of the tenets that she believed was necessary for the perfect life was no sex. I don't know how to put that more delicately. No sex. She had 4 children die. I mean, I think perhaps those 2 things are related. But in any case, she came to the United States in, let me just check the year, 1774, 30 years later. And she brought her followers with her, one of whom was her ex-husband. And they founded this religion in the United States where they were not persecuted for their beliefs. They started in New York, and they moved gradually west. They moved north, particularly north to New England. New England was where the Shakers were the most successful. And then they moved west through New York State, down into Kentucky, into Ohio, and as far west as Indiana. And they established villages, towns, Shaker communities in those places. And some of those communities still exist as historical museums. One of them is in Canterbury, New Hampshire, near where I used to live, so I have visited that one. And listened to some of the presentations that were given by the people there and learned a lot about the Shakers in the process. They're fascinating people. And they had a fascinating way of living. Some of it was quite progressive. They believed, for instance, in the equality of men and women, which, remember, this was 1774, and they meant full equality. They believed in complete separation between the sexes, but complete equality. All of the chores that one group did, so did the other group. Children went to school, the boys went to school for 6 months, the girls went to school for the other 6 months. When they weren't in school, they were working in the fields or working in the shops. They developed the business of growing herbs is something that the Shakers perfected, and we owe them a lot. Not just in terms of food, but also in terms of medicine. They invented a lot of things, including a flat broom that you probably have in your kitchen. They had a style of furniture that we still use today, very simple and very functional. And they had a great deal of music. And their music, they believed, came to them as they slept, as gifts from Mother Mary. And so when a Shaker received a gift, he would wake up in the morning and he'd write it down. But he didn't sign his name to it, or her name to it, because it really wasn't their song, it was Mother Ann's gift to them. So they would just write down the community that they lived in, so it might say Sabbath Day Lake, Maine, or it might say Canterbury, New Hampshire, or someplace in Kentucky. Simple Gifts, that you've already heard, is the most famous of the Shaker songs, but there are thousands of Shaker songs. We're going to do several for you now. The first one is Followers of the Lamb, which is just plain fun. Shakers did know how to have fun in worship. They did a lot of movement. They called it dancing. People who watched them called it shaking, hence the name Shakers. The Shaking Quakers is another name that they were given. Anyway, we're going to do Followers of the Lamb, and then we're going to do a set of Shaker songs written, or arranged, I should say, by Kevin Siegfried, who's a New Hampshire composer that I have met and enjoyed talking with. So, here's a whole set of Shaker music. So if I were really clever, I would have all the men sit over here and all the women. But I've decided to let you stay next time.
Oh, brethren, ain't you happy? Oh, brethren, ain't you happy? Oh, brethren, ain't you happy? Ye followers of the Lamb. Oh, brethren, ain't you happy? Oh, brethren, ain't you happy? Oh, brethren, ain't you happy? Ye followers of the Lamb. Sing on, dance on, followers of Emmanuel. Sing on, dance on, ye followers of